Hello, I'm going to talk to you today about a close read for the strategy presentation. So, close reading. What is it? Well, close reading is thoughtful, critical analysis of a text that focuses on significant details or patterns in order to develop a deep, precise understanding of the text's form, craft, meanings, etc. And it is a key requirement of the Common Core state standards and directs the reader's attention to the text itself. So that was a pretty heavy definition. I would use this with middle school students, but I know that the district that I work in uses it district-wide. They use it K through 12, and they're also required to use it one time per week. So for me, it is a really important skill to learn. So how does it work? What does it look like when you're teaching and providing this explicit instruction for your learners? Over time, as you give these instructions, the goal is that once these students get to middle school, high school, they already know how to do this backwards and forwards, and you do not need to tell them how to do it. So in these younger years, the explicit instruction is going to be important, and this is what it looks like. You are going to independently read this passage 3 times. Prior to beginning your reading, you will number the paragraphs. The first time that you read, you will circle the unfamiliar words or phrases. Independently read it again, and this time, label things that confuse you with a question mark or interest you with an exclamation point. On your third reading, you will label the main idea or ideas with a star and underline the supporting details. This is what the annotation symbols look like for the closed read, at least where I live. And you can see the 1, 2, and 3. You can see 1, 2, and 3, number the parts, paragraphs, circle the unfamiliar words or phrases, question mark, label things that confuse me, explanation point, identify interesting information, star the main idea or ideas in the reading, underline the supporting details. And again, these are, it's really helpful to have this visual of a poster, a very large poster size, so all students can see it really easily. So here's an example of a closed read that I'll read through with you that is for 7th grade civics students, and it starts off with a map, and it shows students all these different places. Now students are going to know that this is a map because they see the states are labeled, but they're not necessarily going to know what these little lines look like, okay? And interesting, what we'll probably point out to them would be this Florida one where you see St. Petersburg over here on this side, and then you go over on the Gulf side, and then you see Tampa over here. This looks really different. So this is what we want students to kind of look at it and think, something's going on here. So here's the closed reading. It's from Newsela, and it's from the charts and graphs section for 7th graders. Once every 10 years following the U.S. Census, the 435 members of the U.S. House of Representatives are reapportioned based on the populations of each state relative to other states. As the population shifts from one part of the country to another, some state legislatures will gain representatives while others lose them. Each state legislature redistricts their state into the appropriate numbers of congressional districts, with the goal of making sure that each district has very close to the same population as the other districts. Because a single party almost always controls a state legislature, of course it would be in that party's best interest to try to draw the district lines so that their party will win or retain more seats in the House of Representatives than the opposition party. Gerrymandering can take place on a few different forms. The controlling party may try to force the opposition party into as few districts as possible, or they may try to dilute the opposition across many districts so that they won't have a voting majority in any of them. Or they may draw strangely shaped districts to split opposition votes, combine the votes of the party in power. Sometimes these borders are designed to split the votes of ethnic, racial, religious, or other groups. The term gerrymandering came to be thanks to Elbridge Gerry, the governor of Massachusetts from 1812 1810 to 1812. During his tenure, Governor Gerry signed a bill that redistricted his state to overwhelmingly benefit his party, the Republicans, much to the dismay of the opposition party, the Federalists. One of the congressional districts was said to be shaped like a salamander, to which one Federalist reportedly said, "No, it's a gerrymander." So, you can see from this text that it is very challenging, and this would be for 7th graders. However, this has a Lexile level for 11th grade students, so we want a closed read to be something that's challenging for students. So then you're always going to have questions at the end of your closed read. This one says, which sentence best explains why gerrymandering takes place? And then this shows you that the answer is in paragraph 2. Using complete sentences, name 2 ways gerrymandering occurs. Parties want to dilute the opposing party's powers so power can be retained. So that's just a short example of what some of those questions might look like. George Washington did not want political parties. Does the process of gerrymandering make you more likely to agree with him? Why? So we want students to really take the information that they learned in the closed read and apply it to different areas rather than just what's contained in the closed read. You can also use this as a formative assessment for your day, just as your ticket out the door, or whatever you want to call it, but not necessarily probably for collecting data unless a student's really struggling to finish this activity independently. So in summary, a closed read, a strategy that encourages students to become independent readers who can easily identify words that need clarification. It also encourages students to be able to identify the main ideas, supporting details, and even the author's purpose. A teacher can use a closed read to add in a topic that they might not otherwise have time to squeeze into their curriculum. And it is recommended that teachers that want to use this method use it often so that students can truly become independent in questioning their closed reads. So closed read, a great tool to be able to use for lots of age groups, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.